Hello and welcome to another tent review video. In today's video we're going to be looking at the Berghaus Air 400, the smallest tent in the Berghaus Air tent range. This is a tent made for 4 people and it uses 3 main air beams to keep the tent up. Go Outdoors describe it as a luxury tent, so let's take a look around and see if that holds true. This tent is currently on sale in Go Outdoors for £449, although they are currently offering an extra 15% off. It's always difficult to talk about price in these videos because Go Outdoors do change their prices quite a lot, so always worth looking for a deal on these. You'll also find them sold in millets and blacks, which are sister companies of Go Outdoors. I'm at Go Outdoors Shrewsbury today, and it's pretty windy, and as you can see this tent is holding up very well. Especially considering that a lot of the guy lines are not actually pegged out here. You can see a few of them hanging by the side of the tent. So I think that's testament to the strong construction with these air beams of this tent. And I think it also helps that this is the smallest tent in the Berghaus Air range. Obviously the smaller the tent, the less surface area the wind has to push against, so the more resilient it is going to be against the wind. At the back of the tent we have this large vent held open here by these guy lines. The more vents the better on tents like this with the sewn in ground sheets, because it means the ventilation is better and there's less chance of getting condensation. The right side of the tent, if you're looking from the front, we have the side door with this small porch, just to give you a little bit of protection if the weather is bad. It also has a window in the door which I like. Underneath here we have one of the electricity access points. There's actually one of those on either side, which is a nice feature. Because it means it doesn't matter which side your electric hookup is on, it's easy to get that cable into the tent. If we go around to look at the front of the tent, you can see there are windows either side of the main door, although there isn't a window on the main door, so that is going to mean this tent is a little bit dark on the inside, as there's this large area here without any light. The tent also has vents either side of that main door. At the top, as you can see there, again like I said, vents are a good thing. Let that air in and keep the condensation to a minimum. You can see there's a large window on this side opposite the door to let a little bit more light in. The tent is constructed of 3 main air beams and that small one for the porch over the right side door. These are inflated by 3 valves on the right of the tent. You can see the little flaps sticking up from the bottom of the beams, and if you go to them you can see there is a valve. And to pitch the tent you would peg it out and then insert your pump, either a hand pump or a electric pump, into these valves and then pump it up. And this is the main benefit of having an air tent, the simplicity of pitching it. There's no messing about putting poles together and sliding them through the tent. You simply peg it out and pump it up and then your tent is ready to go. The downside of having air beams, and this is not just specific to this tent, is that you'll find the pack size and the weight of the tent is more than the equivalent pole tent. For example, this Air 400 weighs just over 20 kilos, whereas the slightly larger Berghaus Ahara 500, a 5-man pole tent, weighs just over 15 kilos and comes in a significantly smaller bag than this Air 400 tent. I'll put a link in the description of this video to my review video of the Berghaus Ahara 500 if that's one you're interested in also. But back to the Air 400 tent. Some of the key features called out on the side of this tent are: it has Nightfall blackout technology bedrooms, and that its hydrostatic head rating is 6,000. Let's talk about the Nightfall bedrooms first. You'll see these on all Berghaus and High Gear tents pretty much sold today. It simply means that the bedroom material inside the tents is black, and this means that in the mornings a lot less light comes through into the bedroom pods. Now I have this style of pod in my Hampton 8 tent, and it does make a considerable difference to normal bedroom pods. You will find it is a lot darker in the mornings than it otherwise would be. However, I think blackout is probably taking it a little bit far. They're not quite blackout bedrooms, but they do make a good difference, and it's something I would recommend you look for in a tent. Now let's talk about the hydrostatic head rating, which on this tent is 6,000. Comparing that to other tents, you'll find that on most High Gear tents the rating is 4,000. On Eurohike tents it's normally 2,000. Now I've used Eurohike and High Gear tents and never had a problem with waterproofness, is that a word? So these Berghaus tents with this 6,000 rating are incredibly waterproof. You're not going to have any problems even with persistent heavy rain in these tents. So let's go have a look around the inside of the tent now. Here you can see that inside door on the right of the tent. you can see the curtain is halfway down. You can either have that curtain up or down for some privacy or to let light in. The side door has the fly sheet as well as a mesh sheet, and that's the same on the main door here at the front. It's always great when you've got two doors with a mesh sheet, because it means you can have the doors open with the mesh closed to let some airflow through the tent, but you don't have to worry about letting in a lot of flies or bugs by leaving the doors open. You can also see there's curtains over the front windows if you want to close those, and vents either side of the door. Below the side door we have that electricity input point that we saw from the outside. This is where you'd bring in your electric hookup, and there is a similar one on the other side. Here at the top you can see where you can hang your lantern or your light, and there's these little cable tolls on the beam coming up from the electricity point where you can run a mains light if you want. That's a clever feature. Helps keep things neat and tidy with the cables. And here under the big window is a little storage area, again great for keeping things neat and tidy. I'm all for having as many storage areas as possible in a tent, they really help. This window also has a curtain, you can see it's folded up at the bottom neatly out of the way, but you can pop that up, it clips to the top of the window and gives you some privacy if you want that. And every single window in this tent has that. In between the two entrances to the bedroom pod you can see there's another storage area, again really great to have. As mentioned earlier, these are Nightfall style bedrooms which keep a little more light out. I like inside that there are little storage pods on each side of the bedrooms. There is a divider in the middle. There's also a pouch behind each door to store the door in when it's open, so it's not flapping around and loose. Again, a clever idea. The bedroom pods can be stored in the tent when it's down, or they can be taken out, and they're detached and attached by little clips, and there is a colour coded one in the middle so you can't put it in the wrong place. The top of the door to each of the entrances to the bedroom has a mesh sheet which you can open to let a little more air in, which again I think is a clever idea. At the back there you can see the vent that lets the air in from the outside. On the side, that little storage pod, like I said, there's one each side. I think they're really great for storing keys and your phone and things. In the middle there's this divider. It doesn't zip completely shut, it's just clipped in at 4 places so you can take it in or out, which is really handy to be able to remove it completely, depending on what sort of layout you would like. The size of the bedroom, in my opinion, is just a touch too small to be comfortable for 4 adults for an extended trip. It says 280 wide here for the tent. Taking into consideration the space between the bedroom pod and the outside sheet of the tent, you're going to be looking at more 260 wide for the bedroom, giving you around 130 centimetres for each double bedroom if you had it split up. Now that is a touch smaller than a standard size airbed, which is normally 135 centimetres to 140 centimetres. You can get smaller airbeds. We use 120 centimetre wide ones to fit in our Hampton 8 tent. We get those from Decathlon. But just something to be wary of if you are looking to have 4 people in here. Just make sure the beds you're using are going to fit within that 260 centimetre width that you're going to have. The tent, however, does give some good head height. One of the main advantages of this Air 400 model over the previous Air 4.1 model is that the beams are more U-shaped. They're more vertical at the sides, whereas the old one was more of a semicircle shape. So you get more headroom further out to the side of the tent. A handy little design change. Things included with the tent are the carry bag, which has wheels. That's a really good quality bag, and it's handy to have the wheels because, as I said, these air tents weigh quite a bit, so it's nice to be able to wheel it along. You also get the pegs included with the tent and the bedroom pods, obviously, and you also get a hand pump included to be able to inflate the tent. So everything you need to get started is included with the tent. There is also a carpet available for this tent. That's something I definitely recommend. It makes the tent feel much cosier, and there is one that fits this tent perfectly. There is also a matching tent footprint available. This is basically a piece of material that goes under the tent before you pitch it, so it keeps the bottom of the tent clean and protected. This isn't essential, but it is a handy extra. Both these accessories are available in a bundle deal for an extra £59 when you buy the tent currently, which I think is good value and worth getting. The final accessory available for this tent, which comes in the deluxe bundle deal, is the porch. This is a porch that would go on the side of the tent by the right door. To be honest, I think it would look a bit odd in this tent because the porch is almost as big as the tent. I think if you're looking for a tent with an enclosed porch, this is probably not the tent for you. I would just buy something different. If you do need a porch, I'm a big fan of tents with porches that are built in. Less effort to pitch and one less thing to worry about. But it is available should you want it. And that's about it for this tent. I think we've covered everything. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. If you found the video useful, please do give it a like and consider pitching up on the channel by subscribing. It really does help me, and I've got lots of other family tent videos on the channel for you to have a look at. Thank you very much for watching, and happy camping!